time tonight. Please join me tomorrow twice at 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, thanks very much for watching. I'm Wolf Blitzer in Washington. Crossfire begins right now.
Any of these. The only way we're going to get this done, the only way that we can ensure success in the next 72 hours is to ensure that we help these laid-off workers.
He continues to, in my opinion, raise the bar on the, and the health insurance area.
Tonight, can lawmakers put aside their differences and pass an economic stimulus plan? And bottled up controversy.
One of the best ways to have a great time this holiday season.
Should liquor ads be seen on television?
Live on Washington, Crossfire. On the left, on the right, Tucker Carlson. In the Crossfire, Democratic Senator Paul Wellstone of Minnesota and House Republican Conference Chairman J.C. Watts of Oklahoma.
Good evening. Welcome to Crossfire. Christmas is coming, but that economic stimulus package may not be. President Bush met with congressional leaders this morning trying to break the logjam. Tonight, sides remain far. Democrats demanding health care for workers who lost their jobs as a result of 9/11. Republicans pushing more tax cuts for individuals than for corporations. Senator Paul Wellstone and Congressman J.C. Watts debate what's the better solution and is anything going to happen. And then, something new on television, but only on NBC. Commercials for hard liquor, yes, gin, vodka, whiskey, you name it. First time in 50 years. Is this the way to celebrate the holiday season? We'll get to the booze after the politics. Tucker's out of town. Larry of KBC Radio Los Angeles sits in again tonight as co-host. Larry, take it away.
No, thank you. Senator Wellstone, Ronald Reagan, in his early term, passed significant, deep tax cuts. The top marginal rate was 70%, as you probably recall, got it down to 28%. Bill Clinton, his first year, proposes a $16 billion stimulus package. Congress defeats it. In both cases, the economy continued to grow. In Reagan's case, it took off. In Clinton's case, it continued to grow. What lessons, if any, Senator, do you draw from that?
I thought you were going to get J.C. and I to talk about the hard liquor industry ad. You might find on NBC, you'll find a lot of agreement here. I have a feeling.
Is that a dodge?
Get us on another time.
Is that a dodge to my well-crafted?
Oh, not
is
at
that a
all.
dodge to my well-crafted question, Senator?
I think that what happened with the Reagan administration was a kind of economics of illusion, because it was borrowed money and borrowed time, and then what happened is we ended up with record deficits and record debt, and that was what President Clinton coming in and the reconciliation bill that was passed in 1993 was all about, which was to do away with those deficits and finally had an economy that was really moving forward. So I think the lesson to be learned is, number one, you need to be fiscally responsible. You can't erode the revenue base. And number two, the economists will tell you, you want to do some investment and some spending. You want to make sure it has an immediate effect, and the best way to do that is get the money into the hands of the consumers, the kind of people, low and moderate income working people, who will go out and buy a washing machine because they need a washing machine. Don't have Robin Hood and reverse tax cuts going to multinational corporations and the wealthiest people who aren't going to consume it, and it doesn't make any sense.
If you, Senator, didn't take people's money in the first place, send it back to them with that kind of question. Why not take people's money in the first place and propose a deep substantial?
Yeah. Actually, last time I checked, I was a senator from Minnesota, and on the whole question of what you do with resources, it has to do with our country as being a community. That's one thing I think we have learned. We have need each other before, and the definition of community, we do some things together. We make sure it's Social Security for people who are over 65 need the additional income. We make a commitment to education. We make a commitment to health care. We make sure that we do for people in the country. That's what it's about. And right now, certainly a priority should be to help people who are flat on their back, out of work, no fault of their own, unemployment benefits running out, terrified, no health care coverage. I've met with so many people in living rooms in Minnesota that are going through that. You absolutely have to provide to help the people. That's what we're about.
Okay. Congressman J.C. Watts, part of the Republicans still insist on getting rid of the alternative alternative minimum tax. So I would like to ask you, everybody watching this program tonight has to pay taxes, and they do pay their taxes. I want to ask you, why is it good for America, for General Motors or IBM or Microsoft to have to pay no taxes at all?
Well, Bill, I would think you'd know is to get money back into the hands of the people that create jobs, and as Senator Wellstone said, get the money back in the hands of the American people so they can go out and spend it and buy food and clothes and help with their children's education or buy appliances, whatever they need in their household. On the AMT front, we've got, over the last 2 months, we've lost about 700,000. It is important that we do things to create jobs and to sustain the jobs of those people who are today working. And AMT allowing, small business or any business, allowing them to keep more of their money to expand or to sustain those jobs that they currently have, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Bill, every time I'm on this show, we usually have a chance to talk about taxes. And I wonder, why is it that you think that it will break your neck if you support giving people some money?
Now, Congressman, my philosophy is to give the money to the needy and not to the greedy. Okay, that's the difference between us. But here's the same.
But Bill, let me tell you something. The needy, let me tell you.
Yeah,
the
needy's not IBM.
Jim Traficant, Democrat from Ohio, made a very good point, and I could relate to this when he said, Jim Traficant, his father worked for 47 years, and he said, one time, there has to be somebody risking their capital in order for jobs to be created. Security for his benefit. Somebody has to risk their capital in order for that to happen.
Wait a minute, Congressman. You know as well as I that doing away with this tax, it does not require IBM or GM to invest that in new jobs, does not require them to invest in creating any. They could use that who says better than I what's wrong with your theory, what's always been wrong with your theory, and what's wrong with your theory today. Here's Dick Gephardt.
Republicans don't usually change their colors. They like giving money to the wealthiest corporations and the wealthiest individuals and hoping it'll trickle down. The problem with trickle down is that it takes about 50 years to trickle down.
How long are we going to wait?
Well, Bill, I tell you, Mr. Gephardt, those corporations in his district that create jobs, you could look at his track record, and I suspect he's done something over the years, probably this year, to try to help them sustain the jobs that they have or even to create more jobs. But let me correct a myth. We've got health care benefits. That's on the table. We've got unemployment benefits on the table. But we also think you have to do something to grow the economy, to create economic security, to get people back to work. I don't believe that, 52 weeks of unemployment, that's as good as a job.
Let's get Senator Wellstone back here.
Senator Wellstone, my colleague asserted that we all pay taxes. Well, in fact, we all don't pay taxes, at least not federal income taxes. The bottom half pay about 5%. The top half pay 95% of the federal income taxes. The top 1%, Senator, pays 30% of the federal income taxes while getting 15% of our nation's income. By definition, any tax cut will, quote, benefit the rich. Aren't you really saying, Senator, you're just opposed to any tax cut? Anytime, anywhere?
No, actually, wouldn't surprise you. I'm really a Keynesian economist, and I think when you have a recession, you better be making sure people can consume, and you better be making the investments. It's a matter of who gets the tax cuts. That's what Bill was saying. And what you really want to do, and I think probably about 95% of the economists in the country would agree, that you want to target the tax cuts on working families, low and moderate income families, middle income families, which will actually consume. That's what we need right now. Those are the kind of tax cuts you want. You don't want to reach back to the mid-1980s and give $1 billion to General Electric or $1 billion to IBM or $1 billion to this multinational corporation, that multinational corporation. It doesn't make any economic sense. Where I disagree with JC is health care is on the table, but frankly, what's been proposed right now on the Republican side is not going to help people afford the health care coverage for themselves and their loved ones. And certainly we got to make sure that we reform the unemployment insurance program so that we get the benefits to families. That's what it's about.
Congressman, let me ask you to respond to that, because what the Republicans are saying is that an individual can get a tax credit and then go out and fight all the insurance companies all by himself or herself to try to get insurance coverage rather than continuing to get health care from their employer under the COBRA plan. What's wrong with a Democratic plan?
Well, Bill, I hadn't seen a plan. We've had an economic security package that we passed back in October, and probably are going to pass another one on the House side sometime in the next 24 hours, unless some agreement is had within that time. But in the package, you can't, Bill, I guess the difference between you and me is that you think that government is a panacea, that it's a cure-all. I think government has a role to play. I think we can provide some type of health care benefit or some assistance in trying to have health care during this difficult time. But, the government can't do it all. There's a role for the private sector and the public sector that all shouldn't be put on the side of the public sector.
All right, we're out of time here, but not only that, we want to let you two guys get back to work so you can get this package passed before the end of the week.
We'll stay and talk about the liquor if you want us.
Congressman J.C. Watts, Senator Paul Wellstone, thanks, guys. Thanks very much for joining us.
All.
We'll take our break now, and of course, when we come back, yes, this issue is in a bottle. Are you ready for liquor ads on television?
With America Online, holiday shopping has never been easier.
AOL makes holiday shopping so simple.
I can shop at all of my favorite stores.
And they have tons of choices.
Shop at over 300 stores, 24 hours a day.
It makes holiday shopping simple, safe, and easy.
Now there's a 100% satisfaction guarantee when you shop on AOL.
With AOL, I can actually relax and enjoy the holidays.
There's never been a better time for America Online. New version 7.0. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx for everyday victories.
Tonight, CNN's Nick Robertson takes you live to the front line of the war on terror. Get the latest on our U.S. troops, the hunt for bin Laden, and the fate of a people caught in the crossfire. Live from Afghanistan, 8 Eastern, only on CNN tonight.
Tonight, a rare sit-down interview with First Lady Laura Bush, plus the tour the public can't take this year of the White House holiday decorations. Christmas at the White House, tonight, 9 Eastern on Larry King Live.
Wish your wife would wrap up the shopping. And you just wish you were out of here. Guys, I think I can help you out.
At $8.99, a Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor is the perfect gift for anyone. Call or go online today and get a free CD burner or an all-in-one print center.
Dude, I'm getting a Dell.
Honey? Holiday values made easy. Easy as Dell.
So if you drink, do it responsibly. Select a designated driver. We want everyone to have a safe and happy holiday. Select a designated driver.
Welcome back to Crossfire. I'm Larry Elder. That Smirnoff liquor ad ran last week during Saturday Night Live, and by airing it, NBC broke a 50-year ban on network hard liquor advertising. The American Medical Association and others are protesting NBC's decision. The ads, they fear, will glamorize drinking, influence young people, and lead to more drunk driving fatalities. Joining us to debate the ads, George Hacker, director of the Alcohol Policies Project at the Center for Science and the Public Interest, and Peter Cressy, president and CEO of the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States. Bill.
All right, now, Mr. Cressy, just to be honest with everybody, that we'll have a designated driver ad. Those are the kind of ads you're required to run for 4 months before you can start running the real stuff. So I'd like everybody to see what one of the real stuff ads would be. Here's one for Jack Daniels, a little bit of one anyhow. Let's see it.
We've always made Jack Daniels whiskey the way Jack Daniel himself prescribed back in 1866. And just one sip will tell you why. We always will. Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey.
So, just to be honest, you're running these commercials on television not to get people to drink responsibly, but to sell more booze.
Well, in fact, we do want people to drink responsibly, and we've taken that approach for over 60 years with our Code of Good Practice. Of course, we do want to be on national network television. We need to compete straight up with beer and wine.
Yes or no? You're trying to sell more hard liquor. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending the money on the ads, right? I mean, let's just be honest.
We wish to sell more spirits.
Okay. Now, my question to you then is, alcohol, we know, is the #1 killer of young people in this country. 6.5 times more young people die from alcohol than all other illicit drugs combined. Why is it a good idea to be on television encouraging young people or anybody to be drinking this stuff?
Well, we're pretty responsible, so obviously we disagree with your assumption that we are going to in any way focus on youth. That's exactly wrong. 85% adult audience is the requirement. We've never focused on youth. We've never used cartoon characters. We're going to be using models over the age of 30. We're not going to be using athletes. It's not the intention to focus on youth. And of course, young people get in trouble with alcohol, and we fight that very hard. We've put over $120 million over the last 10 years into the Century Council, which is, I think by most people's opinion, the leading organization to fight underage drinking and drunk driving.
Mr. Hacker, when you were looking at the ad, you were shaking your head in disdain. However, television already allows you to advertise beer and beer and wine, but you can't advertise hard liquor. You can wrap your car around a tree having had 2 or 3 shots of Merlot just as you can having had 2 or 3 shots of Jack Daniels. Why is one okay and not the other?
Well, that's not the point at all. First of all, I was shaking my head because I thought that the ad that you showed for Jack Daniels was not really what the public should expect from ads related to liquor. Maybe not this year, but next year. But it would have been better to show an ad for Smirnoff Ice, which happens to be a malt beverage, but it has a liquor name.
Can you answer my question?
It's more
beer and wine okay, hard liquor not okay. Why?
We don't suggest for a minute that beer ads are okay.
So you want those banned as well?
Well, what we would at least expect if NBC were as responsible as it says it is in setting certain guidelines for these new liquor ads, that it would have imposed similar restrictions on beer ads for the last several decades, and it hasn't. This is all about money. This is about greed. This is about paying Katie Couric's $100 million salary.
I know free enterprise is horrible and anathema, and we really hate that. We wish we were in a communist country, but we're not. Once again, why is beer and wine okay, but hard liquor not okay? It seems like a funny distinction between.
We have never said that beer and wine advertising on television.
So do you want them banned as well?
No, we'd like to see restrictions on those as well, but it's not an answer to make things worse. More advertising, adding liquor advertising to already the $770 million of beer advertising on radio and television isn't the answer.
So, Peter Cressy, if I can, George mentioned the guidelines. Okay, here they are. These are the 2 pages of guidelines, 19 of them concerning running these ads. Okay, now I'm going to give you number 5. Number 5, on-camera consumption may not be represented. Okay, so like, you never see a cereal ad without the kids eating the cereal, but you're going to have drinking ads, booze ads, without people being allowed to drink the booze. Doesn't that indicate there's something wrong with it?
Well, you don't have people consuming beer on beer ads. You don't have people consuming wine on wine ads. We're not going to have them with spirits ads either. And I think the point of that bill, when you get right down to it, is we want to be absolutely certain if a child happens to be watching that show, we don't want them to automatically make the assumption they can go and drink that. We're being sensible.
Well, how dumb do you think kids are? If you're advertising liquor, they know you drink it. So you don't have anybody, you don't show anybody drinking it. You think you're kidding anybody? They know what it's for. They see it around the house. They know, they know what grown-ups do.
Well,
and they're watching television 24 hours a day.
Well, you've certainly made the right point. Kids are most affected by what their parents do. They're not very much affected by advertisements on television. If you look at the
What kids do you know?
Look at the 1990 report that came out of HHS. Look at the 2000 report that came out of HHS. Look at the Surgeon General's remark in 1993. This is all about affecting brand choice and the segment that you want to get. Now, if you don't believe it, let's look at the actual facts. In the amount of consumption.
I agree with you.
Nobody believes that.
The parent is the person responsible to inculcate the appropriate value so young people know how to deal with this kind of thing. But George, let me ask you this. You oppose hard liquor ads on the grounds that young people could get addicted, there could be traffic fatalities.
Sure.
We banned cigarette ads. 400,000 people die every year because of cigarette smoking. The AMA tells us that obesity causes about as many deaths as do cigarettes. What is the logical reason that we can't advertise cigarettes, but we can advertise Hostess Ding Dongs, Wendy's hamburgers, and salty chips?
You know, I'm not going to defend those products, but...
Would you like those banned as well?
Alcohol and tobacco are addictive products.
So is eating.
No, it's not. It doesn't...
People are over
is not a
obese.
brain-altering
problem in this country. Obviously, there's a problem with obesity, with eating.
There's an absolute problem, and I wouldn't deny that for a minute. But alcohol and tobacco are different. They are addictive products that cause massive harm in this society, and they shouldn't be promoted as widely as they are. And adding to the mix of beer and wine ads that we already have today, these new liquor ads, is a terrible mistake. It's shameful. It's greed over reason.
George, I think we should at least make the point, though, and I'm sure you would agree with this. If you go back to 1980, the same amount of alcohol was consumed then as today, despite the fact that the population has expanded dramatically. So, in fact, we're not getting advertising to increase consumption.
Just about
Well, there are a lot of other reasons for that, including the 21 drinking age.
Gentlemen, thank you very, very much. We'll revisit it, I'm sure.
No more ding-dongs.
Mr. Hackey?
No more ding-dongs.
Thank you very much for being with us. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we're almost at year's end. So, how are the key members of the Bush administration shaping up? We'll grade them A to F when we come back.
Closed captioning for this program has been provided by Verizon Communications.
Passion for the news, compassion for the story. Paula's on. Every weekday morning at 7 Eastern. You can depend on CNN.
Hi, I'm David Orrick. I'd like you to have this $100 cordless iron as our Christmas present just for trying my amazingly light, incredibly powerful 8-pound Orrick XL on your carpets, tiles, and even wood floors. This $100 cordless iron is your free gift whether you keep the Orrick XL or not. There's nothing to buy, so call 1-800-471-1453. That's 1-800-471-1453. Nothing gets by on Orrick.
People say I'm all looks, no brains. Please. Oh, changez mon discours au musée, s'il vous plaît. Oui. But for really smart, check out this Palm handheld from CompUSA. It manages your calendar, gets email. Oh, here's one. The Fed needs me to lecture on our monetary system. Again?
CompUSA, where America buys technology. Buy select Palm handhelds at CompUSA and get a 16-meg expansion card free.
2 funny dads. 2 hit shows.
What are you, nuts?
1 hilarious Wednesday night.
We gonna get down. Yes!
Damon and Jim back to back.
Wall-to-wall action. What you talking about, mister?
Wednesday, starting at 8/7 Central. ABC there.
Wow!
Introducing Universal's Islands of Adventure. It's not just a theme park.
It's a theme park squared. Universal's Islands of Adventure. Orlando's next generation theme park.
Making us America's most watched cable news network.
This holiday, stay connected to the people who matter most. With the Shared Advantage plan from AT&T Wireless, you get unlimited local calling between plan members. So Dad could talk to Mom, Mom could talk to the kids, and the kids could talk to each other as often as they like. Start with 2 phone lines for $59.99 a month, and add up to 3 more for only $9.99 each. You can also get up to 5 free phones, with nationwide long distance included and plenty of minutes to go around, all for life. Visit attwireless.com today for a gift that will have the whole family talking.
Tonight, a rare sit-down interview with First Lady Laura Bush, plus the tour the public can't take this year of her White House holiday decorations. Christmas at the White House on Larry King Live at 9. Then, CNN and MTV come together to connect you to the kids of Afghanistan. What is their take on America's youth? Find out on a special news night with Aaron Brown. That's all tonight, beginning at 9 Eastern. You can depend on CNN.
Larry, you should know a group of conservatives met and decided to give out grades to President Bush and his key members of the administration on how well they're doing so far. We decided, folks, that we were not going to let them be the only ones who give out grades, so here we go. Let's start with President Bush. Conservatives gave him a B. I actually give him a B minus. Larry, I think he's done a pretty good job on the war, but a lousy job at everything else. I give him a generous B minus.
A generous B. Well, I'm giving him a B as well. I give him an A on the war. I think he's prosecuted the war superbly. I wish he would also prosecute a war domestically, a war against the welfare state. Privatize Social Security, medical counts for Medicare, and get the government out of the business of welfare. Let people help people. There's tremendous outpouring of affection after 9/11, and I think that that shows American people care about other people. Ashcroft, the conservatives give him a B. You give him an F as in
I'll give my mark here.
I'm sorry, and I give him a B.
Because?
Well, I don't like some of the loosening of the wiretaps and monitoring of mosques, synagogues, and things like that he's done. Some of his own agents have complained about it. I don't like the war on drugs, but I do think that he has put his hand around this terrorist cell problem that we've got in this country.
Well, I think for the same reasons, I give him a flat-out F. I think he flunks completely. My suggestion to J. Edgar Ashcroft is that he ought to read the Constitution, and we'd all be better off. Dick Cheney is next. Conservatives give him an A minus. I actually give Dick Cheney a B+. He's the grown-up of this administration. He's very credible. I would give him an A if he would only get out of his silly bunker.
Well, I give him an A because he has, I think, articulated the principles of the administration as brilliantly as anybody. He hasn't been around. I assume that he has been consulted on the war on terrorism more than anything else, and that's why I give him the A, because his job, I don't think, is domestic. His job is foreign.
Okay. Next.
Ridge.
Tom Ridge.
Tom Ridge, the conservatives give him a C+. He is the Secretary of Homeland Security. I give him an incomplete because I still am a little concerned about the anthrax stuff, the advice and then the non-advice and then all that back and forth.
I actually give him a D. Maybe I should have given him an incomplete. He certainly took an impossible job. But
you mean I've influenced your grade?
But he's doing a lousy job of an impossible job.
I've influenced you at least to that degree.
Don't take
Unbelievable.
it, don't take it to the bank.
Incredible.
Norm Mineta. There's a guy with a very tough job. Conservatives give him a C. I would give Norm Mineta a B+. He's got a tough job, but I think he's getting on top of it.
Well,
no help from the airlines.
My problem with the secretary is he was on 60 Minutes a few weeks ago. He was asked whether or not if you saw 5 Middle Eastern-looking people getting ready to board an airplane, praying in Arabic, would that cause you to have an extra scrutiny on those 5 people? And he said no. A little too PC for me.
Well, I have to tell you, Don Rumsfeld, Paul O'Neill, Christy Whitman are lucky. We don't have any more time. We'll give them their grades in the mail.
Okay.
From the left, I'm Bill Press. Good night for Crossfire.
I'm Larry Yoder. Join us again tomorrow night for another edition of Crossfire.